Every single cell in your body contains more information than an entire library. Now imagine a space probe discovers a hard drive on Mars filled with 3 billion characters arranged in a complex code. No scientist would conclude that such a program appeared spontaneously, and yet that's exactly what we find inside every one of our cells. The more scientists decoded DNA, the more one question became impossible to ignore. Where did the information come from? Today we're exploring one of the most fascinating debates in modern science. Is DNA the product of blind natural processes, or does it point to something deeper about the origin of life? You've probably heard DNA described as the computer program of life. The analogy isn't perfect, but it's not entirely wrong. DNA stores instructions, it transmits information, it enables the construction and operation of extraordinarily complex living organisms. Inside every human cell lies a sequence of roughly 3 billion chemical letters. In 1957, Francis Crick proposed what became known as the central dogma of molecular biology. Information flows from DNA to RNA and then to proteins, but information itself remains a puzzling concept. In our everyday experience, whenever we encounter a text, a software program, or a coded message, it always originates from a source capable of producing information. So a natural question arises. How did the first biological information appear? Supporters of intelligent design argue that this question is often underestimated. In their view, the true mystery isn't matter itself, it's information. Consider a protein. To function properly, it must generally contain a highly specific sequence of amino acids. Change certain parts of that sequence, and the function can disappear. To intelligent design advocates, this looks less like randomness and more like a carefully organized system. Evolutionary biologists, however, argue that this framing is misleading. Modern evolutionary theory is not based on chance alone. Mutations may occur randomly, but natural selection is not random. It preserves beneficial variations and eliminates those that are less effective. In other words, evolution isn't a single lottery ticket. It's a cumulative process operating over billions of years. But another challenge emerges. For DNA to be useful, there must already be a system capable of reading it. In modern cells, that role is performed largely by the ribosome, a remarkably sophisticated molecular machine. And here's the puzzle. DNA contains the instructions needed to build the components of the ribosome. Yet the ribosome is required to interpret those instructions. Which came first, the code or the decoder? This question remains central to research on the origin of life. Scientists have proposed several explanations, including the RNA World hypothesis, but no model has yet reconstructed every step leading from chemistry to the first living cells with complete certainty. Intelligent design proponents raise another argument. They point out that the genetic code possesses features that help minimize certain translation errors. To them, this optimization appears suggestive of design. Most scientists, however, interpret the evidence differently. They argue that billions of years of evolution, combined with countless cycles of variation and selection, can produce systems that appear designed. After all, bird wings, the human eye, and complex ecosystems once seemed impossible to explain through natural processes. Yet scientific research has gradually uncovered plausible evolutionary pathways for each of them. So where does that leave us today? The truth is that no one has all the answers. Supporters of intelligent design believe that biological information points to an underlying intelligence behind life. Evolutionary biologists maintain that important questions remain open, but that the most productive approach is to continue investigating natural mechanisms. One thing is certain. DNA remains one of the most extraordinary discoveries in human history. 3 billion letters, 4 basic chemical building blocks, and from them emerges every living thing on Earth. So the question remains, when you look at this extraordinary code, do you see the work of an author or one of nature's most astonishing achievements? The debate continues.